Hey, welcome to another very late video, but time is a social construct, which means that time doesn't exist. Also, according to constructionism, wear your hard hat at all times. This is what I read in October. It's now nearing mid-November, which means, what time is it? It's 11:55, so the sun is setting already. And we're sad for no reason. I read about my average amount in October, which came out to 5 books. Also, I have something to show you guys, maybe. Ooh, nip slip. What do you think I was gonna show you? Get your mind out of the gutter. You ready? Are you guys ready? Goose! Goose! That's my first tattoo. I literally couldn't be happier with it. I'm so excited about it. Goose. Let's get into it. First up, I completed the Holy Trinity of Sally Rooney books with Conversations with Friends. This one was published in 2017, and it follows Frances, who is a young writer and student in Dublin, her friend Bobby, and the relationship to an older couple. Ooh, scandalous. This is pretty much prime Sally Rooney, packed full of witty observations and dialogue, tremendously written and frustratingly developed relationships. I really enjoyed reading this. As her first novel, I can really see why it garnered such critical acclaim. And for me, it surpasses Normal People, which is her much more talked about follow-up, but it's not quite Beautiful World, Where Are You? Which is definitely my favorite of her 3 works and her most recent novel. But I would still absolutely recommend this. It's a blast. It's engaging and, like I said, some great insight. 4 stars. 4 stars. The next book I read was Death in Her Hands by Ottessa Moshfegh. This is now the 4th book of hers that I've read. My Year of Rest and Relaxation, Eileen, Lapvana, now Death in Her Hands. It's a literary fiction which follows an older woman who comes across a note in the forest while walking her dog. Spoilers, by the way. The note says, her name was Magda. Nobody will ever know who killed her. It wasn't me. Here is her dead body. And there's no dead body. Where is it? Where's Magda? Who's Magda? Who killed her? So many questions that this note begs. And the book essentially follows our narrator in trying to answer them in a kind of stream of consciousness style of writing that puts you right in her shoes, right in her socks, right in her gloves even. Like, you're there, babe, you're there. But from such an intriguing start, I'll be honest, I lost enthusiasm as I continued reading. What few events that took place felt pretty insignificant, and ultimately I came away a bit disappointed. Though I will say, Ottessa Moshfegh, Eileen is being made into a movie. The trailer looks so good, and I wasn't a huge fan of that book. I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. But I'm so excited for that. Also, rumors of My Year of Rest and Relaxation getting a film adaptation. Ugh, my god. And honestly, I think this would be a better movie than a book. I would run to the theater to watch this. Would I recommend you read it? Probably not. I gave it 3 stars. The 3rd book I read in October, and the only one I have a physical copy of, is Claire Keegan's Small Things Like These. This was longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2022, and for good reason. Oh, what time is it? That's the house Finch you're hearing, because it's 12 o'clock. Shout out Finch. Small things like these. Let's continue. I'm gonna put the cover up there because I don't want to keep holding it. Oh, but wait, look at how it matches my vintage bookmark. Are you kidding me? Unreal. Perfect, even. Okay. It was set in Ireland in 1985, which is all you need to know to tell that it's gonna be a great book. The title is very fitting to its physical makeup, because this one is tiny. Small things like this. It's only 110 pages, but it offers a really haunting look at the Magdalen laundries in Ireland, run by the Roman Catholic Church. These were institutions that housed women of all backgrounds and were, as I'm sure you can guess, awful. So bad. So horrible. In the early 2010s, over 100 unmarked graves were found on the grounds of one of the former convents, which only last closed in 1996. So it can be difficult at times to read, but it's also told from the perspective of a local like timber merchant around Christmas time. So it's a really great book. Would absolutely recommend it, and I really want to read her other book, Foster. Yeah, 4 stars on this puppy. Number 4 was a memoir by Amy Key titled Arrangements in Blue, Notes on Love and Making a Life. I saw this when I was in the library, FVRL, shout out, and was immediately drawn to it because I've been listening a lot to Joni Mitchell's album, Blue. And what do you know? This book uses that album. It was formative for the author growing up. The author is a single, fat, middle-aged white woman who explores how shame, grief, failure, and more in the context of relationships and singleness, as she's been single for the majority of her life. She's also a poet, and this is her first book, so it's really well written, I think. I think it has a really good flow to it, and it's honest, and it's intimate. My issue with it comes in 2 parts. The first being its connection to Joni Mitchell's album, Blue. I was expecting more parallel connections, or more consistency, even throughout the book, in relation to the things she was talking about, but in all honesty, it felt a little sparse. It felt like it didn't come up really enough for it to be so much of a focus in terms of like the title, the intro, where it was talked about a lot as being so formative for her, but it only came up in certain parts. The other was I felt she didn't really properly explore certain topics. Examples of this are like there would be 1 or 2 sentences in each chapter that would resonate so deeply with me that I just found so impactful, so real, so beautiful. And then she wouldn't go further with that. She would kind of leave that as it is, and not in the sense that she's giving that sentence space for us to process and sit with it, but in the sense that she kind of dips her toes into this idea, and then instead of cannonballing in, she runs back and gets the towel. Come on, girl. Let's get wet. Maybe that's on me. Maybe I have to do some work on not expecting every book to cater to my needs perfectly. But whatever. Every book is written for me, right? Doesn't every author in the world know that? I gave this one 3 stars as well. Didn't resonate with me, and well, I'm not single, middle-aged, fat white woman, so it's never gonna be written for me. You get what I'm saying. The last book I read last month, was Happy Place by Emily Henry. God, I love her. This is like Moshfegh, the 4th book of hers I've read. People we meet on vacation, beach read, book lovers, and now Happy Place, which is her most recent release. Now, they are very different authors, Emily Henry and Mosh Fig, and I'm not going to compare them. Emily Henry clears. Beach Read and Book Lovers are both 5-star reads for me. And People We Meet on Vacation was a 4.5. So my expectations going into Happy Place, girl, they were up here. They're out of frame. They were met. She met them. She walked right up to me, kissed me on the cheek, ran a hand through my hair, gently caressed my jaw. Isaiah, enjoy. And I did. What I'm trying to say is it was great. It was good book. Isaiah likey. Yay, good book, good read. Me like Emily Henry. I'm gonna need my own copy. I'm gonna need to find that. There's a train going by, which is why there's that ambient noise. I have my 3. They're barely in frame and they're covered by a stack of books because my shelves are overflowing. But I have the other 3 titles and I need physical copy. It's romance, it's funny, I giggle, I blush, I cry while reading it. It follows a couple who break up, don't tell their friend group, which is the same friend group, and this couple was engaged to be married. And then they both get separately roped into a group trip, which is for another couple in the friend group's wedding. So they can't tell them that they broke up then because they're impeding on this other couple's special moment. They have to pretend to still be together, which they get into all sorts of hijinks, as you can imagine. It sounds complicated a little bit because, hey, it is. And that impeded my enjoyment a little bit, getting to know all the characters, because there's quite a few main characters to keep tabs on. But you feel every bit of the anxiety of the characters while you're reading it. And I think it does well not to just hand you the outcome, because with what I said, that like the couple has to pretend to be together, your brain goes, oh, it's a rom-com, so they get back together and it's fine at the end. And while again, spoiler, yeah, that's kind of what does happen. My favorite thing about Emily Henry books is that, like, you know what's gonna happen. Like, come on, guys. It's a cheesy rom-com novel. You hear the plot and you're like, okay, got it. But the whole way there, Emily Henry makes you feel delusional. She sets it up in such a way that the whole time you're reading it, you don't believe it. You're like, no, this can't happen. No. And she gets you there in such unexpected and almost like arduous ways. Like, you keep on doubting yourself and you're doubting the characters, but they get there in a different way than you expected. And I always absolutely plow through her books so fast. I love it. I can't get enough. 4.5 stars. Shouts out Emily Henry, one of my favorite authors for sure. Those are all the books I read in October. I also want to show off a few books that I bought this previous month. Starting first, I found these at Value Village. Dune. This is also in perfect condition. Definitely hasn't been read, for $3.99. And not just Dune, but Dune, Messiah, which is the second book, and the third book, Children of Dune. All for $3.99, all in impeccable condition. Am I gonna read them soon? Guys, I don't know about that, but I can't pass up on this, especially with Denis Villeneuve's film adaptations. I might jump in. I've not heard great things about the book and the reading experience that accompanies it, but to each their own. It's in the eye of the beholder. So yeah, but I was really happy to find these. Very excited about it. Another book I got this month was The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which, you know, if you are on the internet and like reading, you've heard of this. So I was very excited to find it. And I can't wait to read it. For the last 2 books, let's get gay. Let's get a little free. Why don't we? 'Cause I found Brokeback Mountain. It's short, just over 50 pages, so this is gonna be read in a day whenever I decide to. Will probably be in next month's video. Shout out Gay Cowboys, also known as Cowboys. And this one I'm so excited about. I technically didn't buy it in October, but I bought it before I made this video, obviously, because oh my god, guys, the cover, look. In Love, Young Mungo by Douglas Stewart. This is a book I've heard of and been wanting to read for a while, haven't found a copy. And not only have I not found a copy, but the copies I've seen, like chapters or whatever, have been hardcover, which is not my preference, and have been the other cover. I'll put it there. But this one I prefer so much more. Hey, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, I'm gonna, and I can't wait to read this. I'm going to read this sooner than I would have if this hadn't been the cover. This video is getting kind of long. That's everything. Bye guys. Have a good month. Bye.